Live from the Scripps Studios, this is 10 News.
A South Bay parent is in self-quarantine after she may have been exposed to coronavirus. Good evening, I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. This is just the latest in the growing coronavirus outbreak. And our 10 News reporter Anthony Pura is live in Chula Vista where that parent's child attends school.
Well, she had a child that went to Feaster Charter School. At this point, she and the student both staying home for at least 14 days. Meanwhile, the school district is being proactive, notifying families of the situation. As after-school activities ended at Feaster Charter School, parents picking up their kids were given a notice saying the parent of a preschool student may have been exposed to COVID-19.
We have a very good, hardworking parent who went to work and then has since been informed that she may have been, or that this individual may have been exposed.
The possible exposure can be traced back to an AT&T regional manager from Orange County. She recently traveled to Italy and started feeling sick on March 2nd. That manager got tested for coronavirus and the initial test came back positive, though the CDC is looking over the test to confirm the result. That regional manager from Orange County visited 6 AT&T stores throughout San Diego County. They were closed Wednesday for deep cleaning. In addition, AT&T advised its employees at the stores to self-quarantine. One of those employees was the parent at Feaster.
This parent did the right thing, kind of let us know, hey, my bosses want us to stay home.
The parent also decided to keep their student home during the 14-day self-quarantine period. Health officials say neither the parent or student exposed anyone at the school to the virus. 11-year-old Uriah Hawkins is a 5th grader at Feaster. He says for the past 3 weeks, his classroom has been very diligent about wiping everything down at the end of the day because of the virus.
We have to put everything away, same as always, but we have to wipe everything down. Like we have to wipe down all the tables in the class.
Uriah's mother says when it comes to illnesses, it's better to be safe than sorry.
If you feel like you're coming down with something, don't come into work.
And health officials are monitoring that parent during her self-quarantine period. In the meantime, the school district also saying that they're adding some extra cleaning to their classrooms throughout the district. We're reporting live tonight. Anthony Pura, 10 News.
Anthony, thank you. County health officials say that there are more coronavirus test kits on their way. They are expected to arrive tomorrow. Last week, the county health lab was stocked with about 600 kits. Now they're down to 400.
There is no commercial test available as of yet, but that is on the fast track. Hospitals or urgent care centers can also test.
We asked the county if they have any new protocols like spraying down sidewalks or canceling large-scale events. Officials say they won't be doing any of that unless they see early signs of a pandemic. They are encouraging everyone to practice good hygiene and have 2 to 3 weeks of supplies in case you have to be quarantined.
This afternoon, Scripps Health announced new restrictions for visitors to its 5 hospitals in the county. Visitors with a fever or respiratory symptoms won't be allowed inside the hospitals. Also, children 14 and younger won't be let in unless they're patients being treated or have an appointment. Scripps is also urging people to avoid the emergency room unless they're suffering from the more serious symptoms of coronavirus.
And the cases of COVID-19 continue to climb coast to coast. 41 new cases in Washington state were announced just today. And in New York, more than 2,700 residents. They are being monitored by the Department of Health. Major businesses like Microsoft and Amazon, they're asking thousands of employees to work from home. ABC's Megan Tavrezian is in New York with the latest.
The Senate today approving an $8.3 billion funding bill to combat the COVID-19 virus.
The bill is passed.
The novel virus prompting Seattle area district schools to close for 22,000 students for 14 days in an effort to slow down the outbreak, the state with the most COVID-19 deaths. Now, federal investigators asking questions at the nursing home where nearly a dozen people died. Families of the victims looking for answers on what went wrong.
Last time I saw her was last Sunday, before the quarantine. She called me on Saturday. We spoke, and I asked how she was doing. She didn't really understand what was going on.
Off the coast of San Francisco, the Coast Guard dropping off testing kits to the Grand Princess cruise ship by helicopter. to test passengers and crew potentially infected with the new virus. After an elderly woman died from being exposed during a cruise on the same ship last month. Some passengers showing symptoms, the ship not being allowed to dock.
We're just a little bit alarmed. If we've been exposed, we've been exposed, and there's not much we can do about it.
The virus impacting the economy too. The Dow plunging 970 points. Some of the hardest hit companies, airlines. The International Air Transport Association estimates global revenue losses between $63 and $113 billion. Megan Tavrizian, ABC News, New York.
Keep up with the latest developments surrounding coronavirus and the efforts to prepare for its spread. You can download the free 10 News app. It is free in the App Store or Google Play. Two suspects in a stolen vehicle led deputies on a wild chase through North San Fernando Valley. The pursuit ended just minutes ago. The car slowed down on the 5 after 2 of its tires were blown out by spike strips. The driver jumped out and tried to make a run for it. He was hit by a car, but he got back up. Deputies eventually tased and swarmed him. He and another passenger were both taken into custody. This afternoon, we got the latest results from Super Tuesday. The race to replace Duncan Hunter in the 50th Congressional District remains close, with 100% of the precincts reporting Democrat Amar Campa-Najjar took 35% of the vote. He will face Republican Darrell Issa, currently edging out rival Carl DeMaio by a little more than 3,000 votes.
Measure A is currently losing by just a slim margin. It would have required a public vote on any major housing development involving a change to the county's general plan. Measure B is failing by a wider margin. It asked voters to approve the Newland Sierra project in the North County, which county leaders previously approved in 2018.
There are still a number of outstanding ballots that need to be counted, and they could still shift these results. We will bring you the very latest numbers as they come in.
And the race for the Democratic nomination for president is now essentially a two-man race with the departure of Senator Elizabeth Warren. The big question now remains, who will she support? ABC's Serena Marshall has more from Washington.
From nearly 30 Democratic hopefuls to 3, Senator Elizabeth Warren saying goodbye on Thursday to the presidential race.
I will not be running for president in 2020.
Bowing out after a disappointing showing on Super Tuesday, even failing to win her home state of Massachusetts. The race now a two-man show. Tulsi Gabbard still running, however, with only one delegate, her path to victory virtually impossible.
All those little girls who are going to have to wait 4 more years. That's going to be hard.
Former Vice President Joe Biden racking up 10 states on Super Tuesday, knocking Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders out of frontrunner status. The big comeback after endorsements from his former rivals, including Michael Bloomberg yesterday.
Defeating Donald Trump starts with uniting behind the candidate with the best shot to do it.
Leading to accusations that Biden's backers in the Democratic establishment are ganging up on Sanders.
An establishment of all those hard-working middle-class people, those African Americans, those single women.
Sanders trails Biden in the popular vote and delegates, struggling to bring out the younger voters he appeals to.
Have we been as successful as I would hope in bringing young people in? And the answer is no.
As for who Warren will endorse for the Democratic nomination, she's not saying for now.
Not today. Not today. I need some space around this and want to take a little time to think a little more.
Serena Marshall, ABC News, Washington.
Residents in Southcrest want to know how a 10-year-old boy was able to get his hands on a shotgun and allegedly fire at officers. The tense situation unfolded this morning in the 4000 block of Boston Avenue. Police got a call from the boy's family saying that he was out of control. So when officers arrived, the boy ran for a shed where a shotgun and several rounds of ammo were kept. He then reportedly fired at officers. A SWAT team and negotiators were called in and eventually took the boy into custody.
How was this firearm placed in the shed? Was it locked up? Things of that nature. We're going to start looking at that now that the situation has been resolved.
Police say the child was taken to a medical facility to make sure he wasn't a harm to himself or others.
The economic turmoil from the coronavirus is leading to a home buying opportunity in San Diego. It's a new development we're exploring as part of our Making It in San Diego initiative. Freddie Mac reported Thursday the average rate for a 30-year fixed mortgage is down to 3.29%. That's an all-time low.
Anytime there's any sort of big natural disaster, war threat, that type of thing, the Wall Street money seeks safe havens, and that tends to drive rates down.
Under the new rate, somebody with a $500,000 mortgage would save about $300 on monthly payments.